This is a Smith Wesson Sigma SW40F, and this is its baby brother, the SW380. The Smith Wesson Sigma SW40F and SW9F pistols were introduced in 1994, right before the assault weapons ban went into effect, and they were such blatant Glock clones that the lawyers had to get involved. The following year, in 1995, Smith & Wesson introduced the SW380. This is a 380 micro-compact pistol. So, whereas the SW9F and SW40F, full-size duty handguns, the SW380 more intended for deep concealment or backup use. So, if you were a cop in 1995, you could have an SW40F on your belt and an SW380 in your sock. At a glance, the SW380 looks pretty nice. It took Glock another 15 plus years to come out with their own 380 pocket pistol, but in 1995, you could get a Glock clone in 380 ACP. Except, when you take a closer look at it, you realize that's not really the case. The SW380 is not derived from a full-size Sigma. This is a dirt-cheap, straight blowback pistol with a cast zinc slide. It's basically a Smith & Wesson Saturday Night Special, and arguably the worst gun that they made since the Model 61 Escort. The frame design of the SW380 is very reminiscent of the full-size Sigmas. It's almost completely lacking in texture, but it still has a very good ergonomic shape, so it locks into your hand surprisingly well under recoil. The slide, as I mentioned, is made out of pot metal. It's cast zinc or Zamac or whatever you want to call it, coated in black paint. It does have very deeply scalloped cuts on the back of the slide to aid in racking the action. Makes sense. A lot of straight blowback, very small 380 pistols have stiff recoil springs. The sight design is the so-called gutter snipe sights. It's basically a trench cut down the entire length of the slide, and then there's a little bead or front post in the front of the trench. If you're able to see that front post, that means you've basically got the entire sighting plane lined up, so it's actually somewhat usable, although they are very low visibility sights. Mechanically, this is a very simple pistol. It is straight blowback. It does not have a last shot hold open. The magazines are 6 rounds of 380 ACP. Surprisingly nice magazine. The magazine release is actually just 2 little plastic wings built into the magazine. It's a little bit difficult to get the magazine out in a hurry, but that's not the sort of thing you're likely to have to do with your backup gun, since you've probably already exhausted the ammunition supply of your full-size Sigma. The trigger is pretty typical for a Sigma. It's got the hinged safety blade. It has a long, heavy, creepy, stagey pull, but it's not really true double action, so it's dead after 1 shot. This pistol is extremely smooth. There's no slide release lever because there's no slide lock. There's no magazine release because it's built into the magazine itself. There's also no takedown lever because in order to disassemble this gun, you actually have to drive this roll pin out of the slide. Smith & Wesson very thoughtfully included a punch tool so that you can disassemble this pistol, although roll pins are not the sort of thing you want to be removing with any great regularity. So this is not the sort of pistol that you shoot a lot and clean a lot, sort of pistol that you put a couple boxes through until you trust that it's reliable and you know how to shoot it, and then you stick it in your boot and forget about it basically forever. So even though this is really a Saturday Night Special, it's still a Smith & Wesson Saturday Night Special, so it could definitely be quite a lot worse. I actually have a couple actual Saturday Night Specials, including the adorable but terrible AMT Backup 380. This is not a good gun. Oh boy. Ah, you motherfucker. Yeah. I've also got the Kodiak Denali, aka Cobra Enterprises, Kodiak Industries. It's all the same company. All these Saturday Night Special companies are constantly going in and out of business. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. These are hard to shoot. and they're not fun to shoot. So if I really needed a super small, cheap 380 in 1995, I'd still go with the Sigma SW380. Because these guns have a cheap cast zinc slide, and because they have a roll pin driven into a plastic frame, you might surmise that they're not very durable, and that is what I've read online. Estimates say that maybe these pistols were not meant to go more than 3,000 or so rounds. For comparison, a full-size polymer frame pistol like a Glock or a Sigma will do at least 5,000 rounds before you might want to at least consider replacing the recoil spring. That's about all there is to say about the Sigma SW380. It's a very simple video because these are very simple pistols. They were not very good, they were not very popular, and ultimately Smith & Wesson decided not to keep a 380 in the Sigma lineup long term. The regular Sigma series pistols were much more long-lived, had many different variants. The SW9 and 40V, the VE, and now you can still buy them under the guise of the SD9 VE. It's all still just a Sigma on the inside. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you'd like to support this channel, you of course can do so via Subscribestar. See you next time.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again, meme.